we are live. Hello, welcome, say hi if you're there, say hashtag replay if you're watching this on the replay. Gosh, what a week it's been. You would have got your members newsletter this morning. You'll see everything we've been getting up to, including completing the Yorkshire Three Peaks Challenge last week. Yes! So this time last week, we were just getting packed up and getting ready to go. But I am so proud of everybody who did the challenge, and a huge thanks to everybody who supported us. We've raised nearly £2,500 for the Newark Children's Bereavement Centre. How incredible is that? It's just amazing. Really, really amazing. We've got some wicked things coming up in the squad over the next few months. Will is nearly ready to launch his accountability area, which is really exciting. I'm finalising all the socials for the rest of the year. I'm getting, dates and times, and I've released the dog yoga social for July. Who's coming? That's going to be good fun. And also, we've decided on our July challenge. Stay posted. I'm going to be getting on this. But in the next just over a week, we have on shiny new leggings coming out as well. So it is all go as usual, but it's great. And hello, how you doing? Oh, I can't wait to hear all about your trip, by the way. It sounds and it looks amazing. I hope you have the best time. Okay, let's get to the questions, team. And by the way, what a gorgeous day it is today. I hope you're having a really good Friday, and I hope you've got lots of nice things planned for the weekend as well. Enjoy the sunshine. Wear sun cream, everybody. Okay, question number 1. Questions are brilliant. My focus is to gain strength at 50. How many strength classes a week would you recommend, and which ones? I tried to do ones with weights. So I'm really, really glad you brought this up, because strength training is really, really important, particularly after the age of 30, when you start to lose your muscle mass year on year, especially if you're not challenging it, if you're not working it, if you're not doing any strength training to counteract that. And then after the age of about 50, we exponentially lose muscle mass naturally in our bodies. It's due to our hormones. And it's one of those things, but the only way to reverse it and prevent it is, or to, minimize it as much as possible, is to strength train. So if you're in this sort of age bracket, or you're in between and you are not doing strength training, you must and you need to. The best way to do this is to create the biggest stimulus you can, so that would be using weights. And if you haven't got a barbell, I've got some recommendations on the website. So if you just go onto the homepage and click on the button that says it's something like equipment needed, I think that's the wording. Have a look on there. Barbell is the best thing, because it means that you can lift a little bit heavier, and also, when you're doing things like an upright row, you can be sure that one hand is moving at the same time, whereas when you're holding hand weight, sometimes it can be a bit asymmetrical. Obviously, they have their place, of course, but ideally, I'd get a barbell. So that means I would be doing classes such as stronger. I'd be doing HIIT with weights. We've got classes on there, upper body, lower body strength using weights. I'd be looking at those. I would be doing body conditioning with the booty band, definitely. And also Pilates is strength-based. Yes, it's using your body weight, but it's a fantastic, fantastic workout for strength, and also for mobility and core, which is really important, and really important as we age to be doing things that work our powerhouse, our core, because you use it for absolutely everything. And also it works your balance, which is also important for everybody. So make sure you're doing that. I would say aim for 3 times a week, at least minimum 2 of those using weights. Ideally you do 3 of them, and then maybe a Pilates on top of that, and if you can, a little bit of cardio. Although some of our weights classes, like stronger, they do work your heart as well, so there's a cardio element to them. So I would definitely, say that. And also make sure you're doing other things, like you are giving your body enough protein. So you create a stimulus for your muscles, i.e. doing your strength training, and then you need to help your muscles repair themselves. And to do that and to get stronger, you need to be eating adequate protein. So take your body weight in kilos and aim minimally for that amount. But ideally, if you are active and you are strength training, 1.5 to 2 times that in grams of protein. So if you weigh 60 kilos, you want to be aiming for round about 90 to 120 grams of protein every day, spaced out. Also, give your body adequate recovery and rest time, because that will help your muscles repair. A lot of people think more is better, where actually you need to create stimulus by exercising, and then you need to allow your body to recover, to adapt and get stronger as well. Training, strength training, recovery and rest, and enough protein, and then you're set. Oh, Andrew, just seen your comment. I'm glad you had a nice time. That's good. Question 2. I've noticed you do the workouts barefoot, the ones I've chosen so far. Is this fine for us too? If we're doing them on a carpet, or is it only advised on floor tiles as they take the impact? Now, it's really a personal preference thing. The floor that I use in my studio, it's thick, foamy floor that is very good at taking any impact. So I trained in barefoot since lockdown, and I've found personally that it's improved the strength in my ankles and my feet. I used to get some problems with my feet. I would get pains in the tops of my feet, and I found since doing that, it's improved. It's definitely improved, and I feel like it's improved my alignment, and it's definitely improved things like my stability, balance, because you're getting that connection to the ground. So there's some of the pros. So it can actually strengthen your foot. Your foot's not being forced into a potentially unstable position by a trainer or by the cushioning of your inner soles. And yeah, I just feel like that's worked really well for me. And like I said, I've got that floor. But if you were doing it on a carpet, it could be quite painful. If you were doing it on hard floor tiles, that impact isn't going to be very kind on your joints. So I'd probably be thinking about wearing something that's going to absorb it. So some shock absorbent trainers type thing. Also, you've got to think about your safety. Are you going to fall over? Are you going to slide over? And for some people, it's not appropriate. So say if you overpronate, so your foot rolls in, you might actually need some more support in your trainers to put your foot in the right position, into a correct position. So it's personal preference at the end of the day. Some people swear by it, some people don't like it, but I think it just depends on what you prefer. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that's useful. But yeah, it wasn't something I used to do. I kind of, at the start, it felt like freedom. I don't have to wear my trainers. I'm in my house. This is really exciting. And actually, I found that it really benefited me. So I just keep doing it. But if I were to train on a hard floor, I would be wearing my trainers. Yeah. Okay, next. My question is about the portion size guide. It says a thumb size for fats, but what does that actually look like? I'm thinking nuts, avocados, oils, etc., but I've got no idea what a thumb size of those is. Now, portion size guide is really good to say if you're not calorie counting and you're not really sure where to start, use your hand. So the palm of your hand is roughly your protein size. The fist is going to be your carbohydrate source. So you're thinking, your rice, your pasta, your potatoes. And then the thumb is going to be the fat size. Generally, rule of thumb, is the thumb size for oil is about a tablespoon. For an avocado, you're looking at about a quarter of a medium avocado. And that's one that really catches people out. Some people say, I had a really healthy lunch, but I just can't lose weight. And they're eating a whole avocado and, sprinkling loads of nuts on it. And they're really high in fat, which is great. It's healthy fats, but also very high in calories. So 1 gram of fat is 9 calories, which is high. It's not something that needs to be avoided. It's just something you need to be mindful about if you are on a fat loss journey, or if you find you've got to a sticking point and you don't know why you're eating all these healthy things. It might be that you need to be a little bit more mindful of your portion sizes. So about a quarter of an avocado is a portion size, thumb-ish. And then with nuts, well, it depends on the weight of the nuts really, and the type. But you'd be looking at about, again, a tablespoon or a very small handful. If you're diving into those bag of nuts and digging and getting a massive handful, yeah, you've probably got your portion size a bit wrong. So it's just about being mindful of that. I hope that's useful. Obviously, everyone's got different size hands, different size bodies. It's just a good guide, really. The best thing you can do is keep things consistent, and then you've got something to measure it by. So if you have that same size portion and you find that you're on a weight loss journey, and after 3 weeks, we need to give it a few weeks. After 3 weeks, nothing's happening. Well, then, you can just address your portion sizes and maybe reduce it by 20%. Do that for 3 or 4 weeks and see what happens. So on and so forth. Joe, I train barefoot, but again, I have the same flooring in the active attic. The active attic. I love that. That's brilliant. I love your attic. And you have all your lights in there and everything. It's really cool. Joe's studio. It's perfect. It's great. But yeah, it's good on that type of floor, isn't it? Question number 4. How do you know when you've done enough exercise? I get this is probably a bit of a piece of string question. Right, yeah, I get you. It's just sometimes I feel lazy. Now, this is very subjective, and it really, really depends. I think where you need to start is the guidelines. So the government guidelines say you need to do minimum 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week, which include things like brisk walking, gardening, cleaning, anything that's going to lift your heart rate a bit, or 75 minutes of vigorous exercise. So that'll be your things like going on a jog, doing a cycle, doing your aerobics, doing your combat, those type of things. Or, somewhere in between where you're doing a mixture. I'd always encourage you to do a mixture. That is the baseline. You can go above that, and to a point, the more you do, the better for your fitness, up to a certain point. And you will hit a plateau where the more you do, you're not getting any extra benefit, to the point where actually it becomes a disadvantage and you're in that overtraining realm and your body cannot recover sufficiently. You are fatigued, you've got little niggling injuries, you're not sleeping as well, maybe you're irritable. So more is better up to a certain point. So I would start with the guidelines and make sure you're doing that. And if you feel like you've got loads of energy and you want to do more and you're enjoying your exercise, then you could put another workout in if you want to. And it also depends on how you feel. Like, how do you feel on what you're doing right now? How's your body responding? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling really tired? Have you got those little niggles? And are you working towards anything in particular? Are you working towards getting stronger and you feel by the end of the week you've got a lot of energy left, you feel recovered and you want to get stronger, so could you put a stronger class in there towards the end of the week? Or are you finding that, do you know what, I've done what I've set out to do, I've done the minimum baseline, or maybe I've done a little bit more than that and I actually feel really tired, so I'm going to take a rest. So, and you know what, that will change on a weekly basis as well. But I think as long as you set your non-negotiable, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to achieve, do that. And then if you want to do any more because you want to and because it makes you feel good, then do it. Great question though. That's a really, really interesting question. Question number 5. I'm struggling for ideas. I fell again last weekend. No broken bones this time. Badly bruised and sprains. I'm still swollen. I just feel really fed up. Now, I'm really, really sorry to hear about your fall first. I don't want to name any names. I'm going to keep this anonymous, but you know who you are, and I really, really hope you're okay. Now, what we need to do in these times is focus on letting our body heal. And depending on your injury and depending on how your body is, maybe you will adapt certain exercises. Maybe the classes that you normally do, you'll leave them to the side and you'll do something more gentle and just modify the exercises as you need to. But also following advice from a medical professional. So if you've had a really bad fall and you're not sure what you should and shouldn't be doing, I haven't seen, and I don't know, and I'm not a medical professional, so I would go with their guidance and their advice. But generically, what you want to be doing is allowing your body to rest and heal. And if you're finding you're getting really frustrated, maybe use that time to do something else and take up a new hobby, or take yourself out on walks, or I don't know. A lot of people like to knit. Have you seen some of the knitting stuff recently? It's amazing. It just keeps coming up on my Facebook. It's great. I don't knit, but I feel like that was quite good. Take an instrument. No, honestly, just doing something else to distract your mind and know that you're allowing your body time to heal. But also, if you are able to exercise, modifying those classes or doing different classes. But I think the most important thing here is a reframe of your mind. So not to be the victim of your circumstance. So you can't help what's happened. You can't help that you've had a fall. And it's rather than kind of saying, oh, this has happened to me, this has happened to me. It's about reframing it and being like, okay, this has happened. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm going to control the controllables, and this is the best that I can make out of this situation. And I think that's the best thing to do moving forwards. But I really, really do hope that you feel much better soon. Okay, next question. Ways to beat sugar cravings, please. This is a brilliant question, and this is actually a podcast episode in itself. If you have sugar cravings, the first thing you want to do is find out why. Why am I craving sugar? And the first thing I would actually go to is looking at your meals. So what have you had before? Have you had a balanced breakfast and a balanced lunch? And are you having balanced dinner? And what are you having for your snacks? Are you having something satiating? So something full of protein? Are you eating whole foods that are going to keep you fuller for longer? Or are you skipping breakfast and then you're getting to 11 and your body is craving energy because you are really tired and then you are going for that sugar? So think about your meals. Make them really, really nourishing. Make them what's the word I'm looking for? Longer lasting, by having wholesome foods and by having more protein. So look at those first, and then look at your timings. Are you leaving it a really long time in between your meals? So actually, your body is craving. Your body is telling you, look, I need energy right now. So have a look at meals and timings. Then using the technique HALT. The H is evaluate. So stop, halt. Am I hungry right now? Like, are you hungry, or are you just kind of wanting a sweet snack? And if you are hungry, think, okay, I am hungry. So what would my body actually benefit from more? And have like a healthy alternative. So going and getting, I don't know, some Greek yogurt, or a cereal bar that's not super high in sugar, or a protein bar, or some fruit, or some hummus and carrot sticks or cucumber sticks, whatever you like, or rice cakes or popcorn. Having a healthier alternative. So that's the first thing. Secondly, is it because you're feeling emotional? So that's the A. It stands for angry, but here we'll use it as emotional. Are you feeling emotional? Is that why you're going to grab something? And in that case, you've got two choices. You say, okay, I'm going to bow down to my craving, or I'm going to notice that, do you know what? It's actually because I'm feeling a bit emotional, and that isn't going to help. It's just going to make me feel worse, because then I'll be annoyed about that. Annoyed about the fact that I've gone and raided the biscuit cupboard or whatever it might be. L is for lonely or tired. Am I doing it because I'm tired? And if you are, do you need to address your sleep? Do you need to address your meals because they're not fueling you properly? Oh, sorry, no, that was the T. I mixed up the L. The L is lonely or bored. Am I doing it because I'm bored? Are you near snacks and you're working from home and it's just really easy to grab? And if they are easy to grab, why are they easy to grab? Go and put them in the back of the cupboard in a jar where you have to get out a little step ladder to go and get them. And then you'll soon change your mind about going to get them. And yeah, the T is tired. But another thing that could be, is it habit? Do you always go for the chocolate after dinner? Are you always sitting at your desk at 11 and because you haven't had your breakfast and you want to have 5 biscuits? You know, what is it? Is it out of habit? And if it is, again, you've got two choices. If you want to change, we'll have to break the habit. Or if you don't want to, you can bow down to it, but I'm presuming that you want to. So there's ways that you can deal with this and make it easier for yourself. One, make sure you're getting enough sleep. When we're tired, we tend to make rubbish decisions with our food because we're tired, and it just feels easier to go and grab some quick energy because we don't have the energy to even make a decision when we're really tired. Secondly is stress. Can you manage your stress better by maybe doing some yoga, being more mindful, doing some meditation, taking your time more? Talking of being mindful, are you mindfully eating? So when you're eating, are you slowing down? Are you smelling your food? Are you tasting it? Or are you eating in front of your phone or a laptop or the telly or being distracted? Can you actually focus on your food and slow down? Making sure you're exercising, making sure that you are staying hydrated, making sure that you're having really nourishing meals. And if you have certain foods that really trigger you and you see them, you're like, oh, I just really crave that, I just really want it, and it's in your house, is there anything you can do about that? Can you just maybe not buy it for a while and prove to yourself that you don't actually need that food? That could help. And then finally, it's about planning ahead. Have you planned your meals? Have you got healthy snacks nearby or close to you? So when you're feeling a craving coming on and you feel like you're going to make a poor decision, putting that in the way to stop you from making a poor decision. So they're all little tactics. But there you have it. That is literally like a podcast episode in itself, but brilliant question. Next, what is creatine and what are its benefits? So creatine is one of the most popular supplements that athletes and people who do recreational sports as well, and bodybuilders and anyone who is really into fitness basically uses. It's really, really popular. Now, creatine is a natural substance in your body, so your body actually produces it, and then you also take it in from food as well. And essentially what it does is it is turned into ATP, so it gives your body energy. And ATP, it's like a currency. It's a currency for energy, and it's when you have those short bursts, or if you're doing some real big efforts and you're pushing out that last rep, that is when your body says, yeah, I'll have some ATP, thank you very much. And creatine is turned into ATP. So it's turned to ATP, and then your body goes, thanks, I need that energy right now. So it's that quick energy. Now, why might this be useful? Well, the more creatine you have in your body, the more can be turned into ATP and used for that quick energy. So that means that when you're doing these high intensity workouts, you can go for longer, harder. And when you are lifting, you can push out that extra rep, or you can feel more powerful when you are doing it. And there's loads of benefits to that. So if you want to see real improvements in your fitness and your strength gains, then creatine is really, really good for that. It's also very good for helping your muscles repair and recover, so therefore getting stronger. And it has also got some benefits in terms of cognition, so real good brain benefits actually. So there's no harm in it. It's a really good supplement, and if you are looking to improve that lean muscle and your strength and your fitness, then it is a good thing to take, because it's basically just going to give your body a little hand. It's just going to give it help. So going back to the whole, strength training we were talking about at the beginning for 50 plus, creatine would be a great thing to help with that. It would really help your muscles repair, and it would help you get essentially more power out of it, more lean muscle mass. So I hope that's useful. And like I said, there's more and more research coming out about how it helps the brain. So they're doing some really interesting research with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and all sorts. It might be something to try. You only need like 3 to 5 grams of it a day. And I just get a tiny scoop. So the scoop's like 5 grams or something. Put it in a cup. I put a tiny bit of water in and basically just quickly down it. But I've found that since I've been using it, I feel so much more energized in my workouts. And when, say, if you do that final sprint on your bike, or I'm on a run, or I'm in stronger, I can add on that extra weight that I want to. So I feel like it helps me. I feel like I'm a creatine advert right now. I need to stop. Next, I'm not sponsored by anyone. Next, hi Lorna, how to keep the motivation going even when PMT and period pains want me to curl up into a ball and eat chocolate. Oh, I'm sorry about this. It can literally be a right pain, can't it? This is almost going back to that cravings one. It's really, really linked. What you have to do in this circumstance, though, is remember that you're in control and you have the power. So yes, we might be feeling more emotional, and we might be feeling like we just want to let into the cravings because of our hormones. But that's what you've got to remember. This is because of my hormones. I'm feeling this way because of my hormones. So we'll just stop. And now I have the power and I get to make a decision. So you're literally putting the power back in your hands. You're reminding yourself that you have the power to act on it if you want to, or not act on it if you want to. You also need to think about being kind to you. So depending on what kind of pain you're in, you might just want to take it easy. You might want to switch out your workouts for a few days and do something that is going to help you, like maybe instead of doing HIIT or instead of doing combat, you're going to do yoga or Pilates or a power walking workout, and doing something that's going to make you feel good. So it's about being in tune to your body, listening to your body, being kind to you, but also remembering that you're in control. Another great thing to do would be things for stress management. Get enough sleep, do relaxing things, do some yoga, do some Pilates, and taking that time, just being a bit more mindful. Give it a go. See how you get on. Let me know. Okay, last question. These have been so good, by the way. Last one. Just struggling to know how many calories I should consume every day and the macro ratio, carbs, proteins, fats. I'm eating lean, but I'm trying to understand if I'm not eating enough, as I don't want my metabolism to go to sleep. Also, what's a good balance in classes in terms of how many classes I should do per week and what type? I think I'm on the right path, but I just need a confirmation. Okay, so knowing how many calories you can consume each day or should consume each day, it really depends, and there's no single calorie calculator that can tell you exactly what your body needs. The science is not there. And if you want to count calories, what I would say is using a calorie counter or something like MyFitnessPal to work out a base and use that as your base. So say if you want to lose weight, you would go into MyFitnessPal. If you're calorie counting, you don't have to, and I wouldn't suggest doing it long term because it can just take over your life and you don't have to live that way. But if you are going to do it as a temporary measure, going into MyFitnessPal, saying your weight, your height, and say that I want to lose a pound per week, and using that as a baseline and seeing what it says. But just don't forget to, you don't want to be linking your exercise to that as well, like aka eating back your calories. You just want a baseline. Use that for 3 weeks. And if nothing changes, you know to reduce it by 20%. If you find that actually you're losing more than a pound a week, you might be in too much of a severe deficit, depending on how you feel. A sustainable rate is about 1 to 2 pounds a week loss. Obviously, you don't want to go too fast because you'll just feel rubbish and then you'll want to not do it anymore and fail on your diet. We don't want that. But also, you don't want to get bored by, it going too slow. So that's a sustainable rate. But like I said, it's just a base, and the best thing you can do really is keep consistent. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, base every meal around a protein source and build out from that, and having a couple of snacks that are nutritious, that are nourishing, and that are going to give your body the energy that it needs, and using that as a base and basically having pretty much the same thing every day, and maybe swapping out your meat source or swapping out your carbohydrate source that day. And you can use, a portion size guide for that as well. And if you have pretty much the same thing every single day for 3 weeks, pretty much the same thing, then you've got something to go by. So if you're not losing weight, then you can have the same thing, but just reduce your portion size by 20%. And you also need to go on by how you feel. Are you feeling energized? Are you feeling good right now? Or are you feeling really fatigued and you don't even have energy to speak to your partner at the end of the day? In that case, maybe if you're rapidly losing weight, it's too quick, or maybe you need to look at the foods that you're eating to make sure they're nourishing you to give you energy that you need. So that's the calorie thing. So whether you choose to calorie count or not is completely up to you. In terms of macro ratio, again, it depends on the person, it depends on your activity level, it depends on what your body thrives on, and the best way you can do this and determine this is by trial and error. But what I would do is I would not get bogged down in macros, macro ratio splits. I would say start with protein always. You want to make sure you're getting adequate protein so your muscles can repair themselves and you can get stronger and you can feel fitter and healthier and get that lean muscle tone. So you want to take your body weight in kilos, times it by 1.5 to 2, and that is how many grams of protein you should eat throughout the day. You want to space it throughout the day, because your body can only absorb so much at a time. Depending on the person, it's roughly about 25 to 30 grams at a time. Start with that and then build from that. So then your carbohydrate and your fats. And you can use the portion size guide for that. And if you find that you feel like you've got no energy, then maybe, you might need a few more carbohydrates in there. It really just depends on how you feel. And I would keep a food diary and do something, make a food plan, meal plan, keep it consistent and write down how you feel and make little adaptations on the way. I hope that's helpful. And I know you said, I don't want my metabolism to go to sleep. That's not a thing. It won't. As long as you're creating a muscle stimulus, so your metabolism, your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, is based largely on your muscle mass. So as long as you're doing things to stimulate your muscle, i.e. you are working out, you're strength training, and you are replenishing your body, giving it protein, you're going to be all good. Your metabolism won't fall to sleep. That's not a thing. You'll be fine. With a good balance of classes in terms of how many you should take each week and what type, I am all about that balanced life. I think there's a place for strength training because it's important for your muscles, it's important for your bones, it's important for every day. I think holistic, so our yoga and Pilates, is extremely important for your mobility, for your balance and for your core strength. And then the cardio classes are really important for your heart health, for your lung health and your fitness. So make sure you're getting a range. Ideally, you want to be strength training 2 to 3 times a week, and you can use Pilates as one of those if you like as well. And then doing the classes that you enjoy on top of that. And just go with the government guidelines. So minimum 150 minutes of moderate exercise or 75 minutes of vigorous. And you can, as you get fitter, remember that's a baseline. As you get fitter, you might want to do more. At the moment, the research suggests that any more than 450 minutes a week is actually a disadvantage and a disbenefit. But it just depends on you. You've got to find what works for you. So it's all trial and error. Get a tracker, write everything down, how you feel, what workouts you're doing, and base it on that. But I hope that gives you a really good guide and something to go from. Well, team, has this been useful? I would love to know. I'd love to know if this has been really useful for you. And thank you for the incredible questions. I love doing these. They're so great. I hope it's really insightful for you as well. So make sure you pop your questions on next Thursday's posts and I'll be more than happy to answer them. And let me know if there's anything you want to go over from this one or any questions that you've got. And enjoy your weekend, gang. I will see you on Monday. And don't forget to check your emails. You've got your member newsletter. I sent it out this morning. I'll see you later, everybody. Bye.